Hey, it's James here. If you missed episode one, we talked everything about finding UGC creators, the pain, the hassle that might be. This week, we're jumping into why UGC may fail and how to pay creators and kind of managing that whole admin side of UGC and everything. So if that interests you, let's jump right into it. So a common thread that regardless if you are like money rich, time poor, or money poor, time rich, like we have to pick every step of that way, those three buckets, we are still picking the creators that we want to work with, right? I mean, I have my little list of how I select UGC creators, but I'd be very curious because I feel like you had the two extremes, right? You had like the hashtag UGC creator on Twitter selecting creators, and then you had like creators working with an agency that were already kind of like pre-vetted by them. So like what is your experience on the extremes of trying to find a creator and like what makes a good creator? Like what are you looking for?
Yeah, so the first thing I look for is essentially like a CV, right? I want you to, I always ask, okay, what other apps have you, specifically apps, what other apps have you worked with? What accounts do you manage? Send them to me. The reason is I want two things. Number one, I want to see whether you're consistent because at least if I go on your TikTok profile, I can see if you posted daily, which is what most apps want, or were you kind of like in and out, 4 day gaps, 5 day gaps, blah, blah. That just shows more professionalism on that side. And number two is then I can then be able to see, are you able to do different types of content? Because if I see someone doing the same type of content 30 times and none of them banged, or not even banged, like just none of them had like good enough views. I've seen an account literally where they posted like in 32 times and all their views were under 1,000 views. And I'm just like, you didn't think, hey, let me change this up. You didn't have that kind of forethought. It was kind of like, oh, you know what? The company wants me to do this. Let me just continue doing this. So those kind of like the key things I definitely look out for as well. I think on the agency side, it was definitely easier because they already have pre-vetted people that they already work with. What I then found is that a lot of them they were paying on performance, which actually changes things a lot because when you pay people for performance, they now know that hey, if I don't post, I don't get paid because I don't get the views itself. If I post something rubbish or I haven't put any effort into and I don't get views, I don't get paid as much. If I put effort into something and I do get views, then I get paid more. It's kind of like, oh, okay, cool. Incentives are aligned, right? So to give the same scenario creator that I've seen that's posted 32 times, but everything's under 1,000, they knew regardless, as long as I post 30 videos, whatever it was, I'm going to get paid, right? So they don't care about the quality of what they're posting at all. However, if it's something performance based and it's kind of like, actually, maybe you may get like a small, maybe $100 base, but most of your compensation is based off the amount of views you get.
Yeah, I mean, we've also seen, this is kind of alluding to our stuff now, but like we definitely seen a lot of our clients, in Creator Check where they set a minimum barrier that you have to cross in order to get paid for even performance, right? Where they're like, because in TikTok, there's kind of like those jails that you fall into, right? Where it's like, if your content is like, okay, you might get like 2,000 views, but you're not going to get past that 2,000 mark. And when you're working with UGC creators, you don't want to be paying out performance for videos that are like destined to only have 2,000 views every single time you post it. So like one of the most common minimum thresholds that we see for performance is 2,000 views, where it's like our clients are basically telling their creators, hey, we're not going to pay you for any performance, any CPM basis, unless you cross that 2,000 view mark. Then once you cross the 2,000 view mark, then we'll pay back to all the views you got from zero. But kind of in your head, once you cross that 2,000 mark, you have a trajectory to at least get to like 10, maybe. You know what I mean? Like there's something there where it might take off.
Yeah. And I think also to add on to that, on the client side of things, you actually get more shots on goal without having to pay, right? Because it's kind of like there could be a certain trend or whatever, maybe not trend, a certain type of video that just doesn't bang. Like he keeps on getting less than 2,000 views. Now, when you've tried it 4 times, for example, and it's got less than 2,000 views, it's like you haven't had to pay to try that out. But now you've gotten information to know, oh, that doesn't work anyways, which is also something like super cool that we're seeing a lot of companies that are using us do have this kind of like minimum threshold that you have to hit before you can even start getting paid, which again aligns everything for everybody as well.
We obviously handle a lot in Creator Check, but I think it would be very interesting to like kind of know the most common, at least like I call them Lego bricks, right? Like the pieces of the contract. So you have like performance basis, you have minimum thresholds, maximum spend across a campaign or something like that. I think it'd be really interesting to talk about how our clients, because that like I mean that's our best data set for this right now, but generally how the industry is looking at pitching to creators and like saying this is how much we're going to pay you and this is the basis of how we pay you.
I think, yeah, there's a deep world of that. So I would say there's three types of payments or three buckets. There's the fixed payment itself. And for the fixed payments, that's essentially you pay them a certain amount for a deliverable. Then there is performance based, and performance based tends to be based on the amount of views that this creator gets for you. And then the third is bonuses. Bonuses are applied on top of any kind of payment you've already given them. And it's kind of like, hey, if you hit 100K views, I'm going to pay you an extra 100, for example. If you have 500K views, you get this extra bonus. So there's kind of like the three separate type of payments. I think the most interesting one tends to be like the performance side of things and the minimum, the maximums that people set. And I think it can get quite complicated. Like what we just described, one of them is, let's talk about the minimum and maximums. So a company can come and say, hey creator, we want you to create videos. We're going to pay you on performance. However, we're going to pay $1 per 1,000 views. But then our minimum is that you have to get at least 1,000 views for you to be qualified to even get paid. It's kind of actually the same, or similar to how social platforms are, right? With YouTube, I think you have to get at least, I think, is it 4,000 subscribers or something like that, or a certain watch time as well before you can get into the creator program. The same thing with Twitter. You need to get, I think, at least 5 million views within 3 months for you to be able to get into the creator program. It's kind of like, hey, this is the entry to the barrier to entry is you have to even get that 1,000 views in the first place. So that's that side of things. Then you have the maximums, which is kind of like some videos just go super viral and no one even knows why. And you don't want to have like a 50K bill that you need to pay a creator, especially if you don't. And some things go viral, but they don't convert, by the way, because they just go viral for like another completely different reason. So what some people do is they also set a maximum to say, hey, yes, I pay $1 per 1,000 views, but the maximum I'll pay for is 100,000 views, for example. So even if you get 10 million views, I will still gonna pay you as though you got 100,000 views for that video. So that's also some way that people or companies tend to their risk, or at least their cost on that side. And I think the reason why people put a minimum, because some people may say, oh, that's not fair. At the end of the day, if I get views, I get views, like, and that's good. Is because that's not tied to revenue itself, right? Views are a couple of steps away from revenue, right? Let's look at for a mobile app. It's kind of like a view. That view now needs to convert to an install. Now that install user needs to convert to a paying user. If it was more affiliate based, where it was kind of like, hey, if for every subscriber or paying user you get X amount, there probably wouldn't be any caps or minimums at all because it's directly to revenue. So the reason why companies are now putting the best minimums and maximums is because they know that the views that you're getting, all of them are not going to convert to revenue itself. Actually, probably like a very, very small percentage of them will convert to revenue. For them, that's kind of the fairest way for them to be able to manage their risk, but also still pay out for you at the end of the day.
So if you've never heard of what UGC is, UGC is it's user generated content. So the premise is that it's marketing material, but it's not like a paid advertisement done through meta ads or TikTok ads. It's literally a creator posting a video talking about your product in a way that seems organic in nature, at least. And generally, like you'll see a lot of them on TikTok if you have like a very in tune eye for it. You'll see a lot of them with slideshows, like swiping, and then like the fourth slide, they mention an app, and then quickly you slide away. That is usually UGC content. And then obviously you have the more dramatic and more obvious ones where it's like, you know, you have like a perfume bottle and you're kind of recording it all pretty and everything. But it's generally marketing material that lives on like a creator's page or on a branded creator page on TikTok, Instagram, and seems organic in nature.
TikTok Shop is what kind of enabled all of this, where anyone could become a creator and earn money through that. What I see here, and this is the beauty of TikTok Shop, is TikTok Shop was affiliate directly, where all these, I guess it tends to be like physical goods, would be like, hey, you're gonna earn, 50% of whatever set or price it was. So everything was aligned. So everyone just knew, hey, if I sell this thing that's actually $20, whatever it is, I can get $10 for every sale. So I'm going to try and push out as many videos as possible about this specific product or even multiple products itself. Like I see people who are big creators just because all they do is TikTok shop things. So I think this is definitely going to be the future, especially because a lot of the content sometimes doesn't even feel like an ad, which is kind of like it then goes more into our FYP. We like to watch that kind of content, not necessarily knowing that we're being sold to. So I think that's something that's very big. And I think our goal generally, even with Creator Check, what we're building now, is that every platform, every social media platform has their own creator program. We kind of want to let any company in the world have their own creator program where one day they can just be like, hey, we're going to generate a link with Creator Check and anyone in the world can just come and upload videos onto TikTok. And of course, we do all the scraping, performance tracking, etc., and then payout without the management hassle that we've talked about in the other video as well, of managing creators, etc. Because you just know, hey, if you don't get to our minimum views of, let's say, 5,000 views, you're not going to get paid. And if you do really, really well, you're going to get paid well. But again, they still have that cap at the top of it as well.
So if all this UGC talk was interesting to you, you want to hear more, we have a bunch of videos that we're going to be talking about UGC, how to pay UGC, red flags in UGC. We're going to yap about UGC a lot. So if that interests you, be sure hit the subscribe, follow us, leave a comment if you have any questions, and we'll be sure to get back to you and try to answer your questions.
If you want to hear more about UGC, the good, the bad, and the ugly, make sure to follow me on Twitter. All I yap about is building apps, and UGC is a very, very big side of that. And if you want to pay UGC based on performance and not just a fixed rate, you can check us out. Create a check. It's very simple, and it's free for you to use as well.